Turn to the camera. Hey, it's Live Wire, and it's coming right up, and we have some wonderful show for you tonight. It's really a fascinating topic, two topics actually. One is about the air we breathe and your breath and pollution in the air. And we have some people from Breathe, California to talk about what's being done to make sure that our air keeps us on the planet. And then we're going to talk to some people who have a program in schools for college prep that starts pretty young, and it's called AVID, and they're going to explain it to us. So if you have kids who are college bound, stay tuned right after this important message. Sacramento production. I'm Ray Tartar, and this is Live Wire. Live on the air right now. It's happening right now. It wasn't taped. Young ladies from the Breathe, California, which is very, very old, right, mm-hmm. Kori?
Yeah, we actually started in 1917, so we're coming up on our 100th anniversary here very soon.
Wow, 100 years old. That's amazing.
Yeah, we started here in Sacramento because of tuberculosis, and as we kind of got that under control, although we are seeing a resurgence, unfortunately, we really broadened our mission to look at all kinds of things that impacted our lung health. Mm-hmm. About the same time, it was both the Surgeon General's warning on tobacco came out, as well as the Clean Air Act started. So we really took on the issues of tobacco control and air quality. So still really looking at all of the things that affect our health and our lung health. And so certainly here in Sacramento, air quality is a big issue.
It is a big issue. It's been an issue for a long time. Katie, you're the one that goes out and creates a relationship with the community. Is that right?
Yes.
Tell me about what you have coming up.
Well, we are hosting a community forum on cap and trade. Cap and trade is a new program where industries purchase credits for their pollution. That money goes into a fund that's
credit for their pollution.
Explain
to the listeners and this poor man who didn't get it.
The idea is that we have industries who are polluting more than we would like, and so they create this auction where they make a certain number of credits available, and over time they're going to reduce the number of those credits, and so that we can try to incentivize industry to reduce their pollution. But the funding from that auction goes into the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, which comes back into our communities to improve air quality.
It's really great. And when is this event going to happen?
The event is going to happen on May 7th, which is next Thursday, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Guild Theater. And
that's in Oak Park.
Oak Park.
Okay, and that's near Midtown, downtown. There it is, 2828 35th Street. It's a nifty old vaudeville movie house. So it's fun to go into that. And there's some good little restaurants around there, so you can have a good time. Flowers Fish Market, my favorite, of course.
Well, we will be providing dinner courtesy of the Israel Family Farm. I know.
Okay.
A good part of the event will be getting input from the community about what the ideas they have for reducing air pollution, from transportation to vacant lots they'd like to see trees planted in, or affordable housing they'd like to see developed. And then hearing from actual state officials and local officials about what their plans are for the region and getting to interact with them directly.
Well, I went to your website and I could see that your organization has, since it's been around for a long time, is really well connected with all of the organizations that might have anything to do with air quality.
Certainly. We have long-standing partnerships, obviously starting with our local air district, who is a major partner, and since they're really the ones who are driving what's happening here in our region, but even at the state and national level, as well as other advocate groups. I mean, it's really important for us because air quality is difficult now. We've done the easy stuff. All that low-hanging fruit has been picked long ago. And then the good news is our air quality is significantly better than it was even 20 years ago.
Trust me, when I was growing up in Los Angeles, there were days when I'd go out and you could actually taste the smog. You could taste it. Yes. It had a kind of acidy, kind of tart taste to it, and it would hurt your lungs.
Yes.
My lungs hurt on the side. And now I understand some studies have been done where it actually affects your brain.
We're finding that air quality affects a lot of things. There's actually been some studies that show that not only does it affect things like unborn children, it obviously affects your lungs with asthma, other lung diseases. It affects your brains. There was even some research that said that there's a correlation with happiness and poor air quality. So better air quality, you're actually happier too. So there's lots of research happening with lots of different areas, but it makes sense if you think about it, because especially when we're talking about those ultrafine particles, so those are super fine, what happens is the big stuff your body knows how to take care of. It filters that. The little stuff passes that. So these are the things that are created by combustion engines, quite frankly. So it's stuff we've created. It actually goes and passes through the lungs and into the bloodstream. So of course we're going to see impacts throughout the entire cardiovascular system and of course the brain then. So
now we're not fear-mongering here, but we're saying it like it is.
We're not fear-mongering, but it's people need to be aware of that. So one, they can protect their health. So there are certain times we know here in Sacramento when the air quality is bad, that's probably not the time you should be outside exercising vigorously. Let's do it in the morning in the summer, or can you work out inside if the air quality is bad? So protect yourself. Knowledge is important. And there are lots of things that we're working on ways to protect each other.
Interior air as well.
Interior air, again, it is really going to depend on your filtration system. So your interior air can be very bad. But again, if you have got your house pressurized correctly, if you've got HEPA filters and other of these high-grade filters, you can actually do a lot to improve your indoor air quality as well.
That's really great. And all of this goodly talk that we're having about air quality and what's being done can be heightened by your participation, meaning your participation, in this event that you're putting on, correct?
Yes. And I mean, we know that there's certain parts of town that are feeling the effects of this poor air quality more intensely than other parts of towns, depending on where you're at in relation to the freeway, if you have a lot of trees, even if you have the personal resources to be able to do the HEPA filters and to get the medical treatment you need to address the concerns that come out of having being exposed to poor air.
HEPA filter, which is jargon to a lot of people. What it is, it's just a tiny filter in an air cleaner that cleans the air in the house, right?
Correct.
Exactly. But I have a map that I brought that shows in Sacramento the communities that are most impacted by poor air quality and also have the highest level of social
can we see that?
lift.
It's a slide. And there it is.
There it is. So this is a site, every census tract in the state was assigned a number, and this highlights the top 25% in the entire state of California. So what you see is here in Sacramento,
top 25% of people who have bad air is
bad air and a high level of social risk. So on the next slide, you'll see, and the link is on our event page, that it's comprised of all of these numbers down to your ozone levels, your diesel exposure, the traffic, as well as asthma rates, as low birth weight, people who have lower educational attainment or maybe don't speak English as their first language, to create this overall score. And these are the communities that are going to be targeted for this funding. And next year, it's going to be in the billions of dollars. This
billions?
Billions with a B. So
billions
that's what we're talking about here on May 7th.
Well, happy HEPA. So let's talk about some of the funding. We talked a little bit about it before, and what it does. You're talking about. It was really interesting. This cap and trade idea to trade, people who are polluters or have, unfortunately, whatever they're building or whatever they're making, it actually creates some form of pollution, but you're trading them for, and then also some of the funding you said earlier, Kori, goes to like builders, which they're building places where people don't have to drive 90 miles to work, thus creating a daily balloon of bad air out of their cars.
Yeah, we're really looking at, as I said, it's the hard work now. We're getting people to change their own personal behaviors, and that's hard stuff. So if we can create a community that is more walkable, more bikeable, more transit friendly, those are going to make it easier for people to get out of our cars, because the reality is here in our region, 80% of our pollution is because of mobile sources. So those are the vehicles that we're all driving around, cars, buses, trains. Look, we've got freeways that just traverse the city. all of that is creating pollution. So we have to make it easier and give people better choices so that they don't have to rely on their vehicles.
Sure. In Southern California, which was built, it's a post-war city, really. All of the Garden Grove and Whittier and Fullerton and all of those places were built without sidewalks in the neighborhoods because they wanted you to go to your car and go wherever you're going to go, come back.
There's several suburbs like
And
that
they
here in
also-
Sacramento.
Right, and they ripped out, and they also ripped out the railway lines, the light rail
Right.
lines, or the cable car lines, or
And
whatever.
now they're putting it all back in.
Thank goodness.
I know, but it would have been a lot easier if we could have left it, right? And that's
Exactly.
really and that's why we have to attack this so many different ways. And quite frankly, why we also spend a lot of time, the programs we do are in schools and with kids, because it's so much easier to create good behaviors than it is to fix bad ones.
Yes.
So we really
Bike,
spend
car.
Yeah.
Bike doesn't go as fast as car.
Car.
I take car.
Well, and that's it. So, that's a great example. We have to make it a reasonable trade-off for somebody. So, great, I can take my bike and walk and transit, and it takes me 2 hours, or I can take my car and it takes me 20 minutes. What are you going to pick? Of course, you're going to take the car. I mean, we understand that, and that's why building this infrastructure is so important, and why things like transit-oriented development is so important, and making a more robust transit system, and making our streets more friendly for people to walk and bike.
I can't
You've got to
gainsay
do that.
Up on the screen is the Community Forum on Cap and Trade. So are you going to be there, Kari?
I am definitely going to be there.
Okay. How about you, Katie?
I'll be there.
Okay. And you could be there too. So thank you both for coming.
It was great
Thank
to
you
be
for
here.
talking about this. Let's clean up our air.
Please.
Okay.
Thank you so
Yeah.
You
much.
and me.
Yeah, we got it.
We've got it.
All right. That's all the time we have for this section.